Good evening. Today we're going to be discussing slavery in colonial America. In chapter 5 of American Zion, written by Eran Shalev, we'll look at evangelism, slavery, and the decline of the Old Testament nation. I'll reference the Bible, and I'll also be referencing David M. Goldenberg's Ham sinned and Canaan was cursed. This is a chapter from his book entitled Race, Slavery, and Early Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So, colonial America has, in a sense, entitled and fashioned itself God's New Israel. And they follow the Old Testament kind of as a guideline for what nationhood and territory is going to look like. And so we hear a lot of biblical references from the works that come out of colonial America. In this, Jesus and the New Testament begin to take center stage over time. From here, we see the antinomian controversy as theologians are really debating this oneness or this union with Christ and man. And so they were trying to understand the nature of this. In this chapter, we also take a look at slavery, and it is a hot topic of debate as you have two sides trying to justify their position using the Bible. So the northern opposition is basically looking at slavery from the perspective of servanthood and not chattel slavery, meaning that one would have a possession of a person that is a slave. Deuteronomy 10:14 says, "To the Lord your God belongs the heavens, even the highest heavens, the earth and everything in it." So the idea of chattel slavery is directly contradictory to that statement. However, slaveholders referenced Noah's curse as their justification for slavery. My next line of questioning would be that if Christ was who he was to these Christian Americans, why not just evangelize? Why not convert them? So a couple of things stick out in my research. One, that it is forbade to enslave other Christians. So by converting these people, these African people, they would now be Christians and you could not subject them to slavery. There was also this postulation at one time that black people did not have souls and therefore were unredeemable and free to be slaves. If we look specifically and more closely at the curse from Genesis 9:25, and I'll read it from the King James Version, it says, "And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brethren." And so in reading David M. Goldenberg, one of the things he points out, which makes the most sense and is very clear in it, is that this has nothing to do with Ham's skin color. This has nothing to do with Ham, because Canaan was the one that was cursed. And the only person that Canaan was supposed to be enslaved to was his brothers. Additionally, it's very doubtful, in my opinion, that these slave traders would have traced back the lineage of these slaves to ensure that Canaan was actually the progenitor. So we don't have a real true basis to say that this is biblically sound. So just using those two scriptures alone, you could really make a case for taking some things out of context here in order to justify this practice. But again, this is just a very brief overview when we're looking at slavery in colonial America. Thank you.